Hello and welcome back to the roads of Elden Ring. This time we go through Liurnia. And Liurnia is a big area, but there are not too many roads, so I came up with a path, I think, that also leads through the lake itself, even though there is no water. But this is not where we start. We will start at the road down here. If we have a look at the map, what I've planned for today is we will follow first of all the main road to the academy, and from the academy to the lift over here, the grand lift of Dectus. After that we do the smaller paths, mainly from this junction over here. We will go to the artist's shack, and then we will check out the area that is around here. After that, we will actually start again over here where we are standing right now, right behind Castle Stormvale. From here, we will go the path that the player usually takes, well, first into this area. And from here, we will venture to the west side and go alongside the western cliffside, I guess. And maybe if we have time, we venture down here and end the episode over here. Maybe. So let's start. And here we are on the main road. If we have a look at the map, we are currently at this position, right at the beginning of Liurnia. This is the road that collapsed. Usually you could go over this bridge to Liurnia. Now the player almost always has to go through Castle Stormvale. Well, there is a hidden path here, but let's just think there are not many people thinking about this path or knowing about this path. So what happened here? Here we have one of these wagons or whatever these things are, maybe big coffins, that are usually getting pulled by trolls like these. Trolls that got impaled by this very big spike. And usually there are two trolls pulling one wagon. And because here's only one troll visible, I think the other one just fell to its death into the water down there. And this might not be true. Maybe the other troll just ran away or something. But I like to think that they just fell to their death right at the time the bridge collapsed. And this one somehow got rid of the connection to the wagon and is now aimlessly roaming around over here because there are no other, that is its purpose, right? Their purpose is to pull this thing, and without any instructions, they're just roaming around. And here we can see already some soldiers, and these are no soldiers of Godric. They have a different banner on their, on their armor set. This one is blue and red, and these are the Cuckoo Knights. Sounds funny, but this bird has some lore reasons to be here. Here you can see Cuckoo, Sir Code. So I'm not making this word up. I'm not talking about the lore of this area as much because, to be frank, I'm not really that adept in the lore of this game right now. I'm mixing up things here and there, so every time I talk about lore, take it with a grain of salt. This might be not completely correct. Here we have, as we've seen in other areas before, just a little convoy, some soldiers protecting the aristocrats. Nothing special here, so let's keep going. Of course, because it's Liurnia of the Lakes, this game, or this part of the world, likes raining a lot, similar to the Weeping Peninsula. And here we have our first grace of this area. Usually, you're starting from up there. and not usually. You are starting from up there, from behind Stormwell Castle. Because, well, how do you get to Liurnia itself? There are two ways. First way is going through Stormwell Castle and getting out of Stormwell Castle right here. And the second one is you jump down on this rock formation here and then you move on the cliffside and you also end up on this part. So the only way down here is jumping down these giant tombstones over there. And they're quite hard to see from up there. And you also don't really see the side of Grace over here because it's actually hidden behind these rocks. So I think the developers want the player, or the majority of players, like the new player, to go this path that is conveniently laid right in front of them. But we are going this way. And here we have a new type of enemy that we haven't... Actually, that's not true. We have seen them before in the Weeping Peninsula, but, well, these are more common in Liurnia, because these are marionettes, like literally wood that is being controlled, I guess, by some kind of magic. And we have these very strange looking balloons here, powered by this blue flame. Come on. Powered by this blue flame. And they also have this weird looking balloon part, which is made out of wings. Maybe dragon wings, or maybe, what are they called? Bat wings, but I think they look more like dragon wings to me. Which is kinda creepy. They look creepy, these balloons. But other than that, there's really not much to see here. Some ruins, possibly from Faramazula. They have the actual, or the same design like the Faramazula ruin parts. And here we have just another outpost of soldiers camping there, possibly taking shelter. And here we are at the first crossroad, where we will now venture forth underneath there, and later on we will go the path leading up there. But here we have an interesting site where I am a little bit confused, because here we have destroyed marionettes, some of these fire-breathing war machines that also got destroyed, and right in front of us usually there are soldiers fighting. And these are the two factions. The reason why they're not fighting right now is because I am invisible. This is why they're not being triggered, despite the spawn being triggered, which is a bit weird. But here we have puppets, which are the same as these. Note that these are, they have different colors, so these are all puppets. People turned into puppets, like these, controlled by a mage, and then we have the cuckoo soldiers. So there are two different factions, cuckoo versus someone controlling puppets. And what I like to think is, if we have a look up here where there is, or should I say there was, the cuckoo outpost over here, we can see the cuckoo knights are dead and these puppets have won. And if we have a look on top of this tower, there is a mage standing up there, and, well, it looks like that this mage is using these puppets to take, or he used these puppets to take over this area, to free this area of the cuckoo knights. And, well, even if it's wrong, like, it's still weird that the mage is still there. Like, he's not fighting the puppets, so it looks like these are his puppets. But there's a strange thing which is confusing me, because have a look at these colors of the Cuckoo Knights. They're blue and red, right? And what colors are also blue and red? If you have a look at the mage, the colors of the mage robe are also blue and red. So aren't they supposed to be on the same side? Why are they fighting? And this is something that which confuses me in this area, because everything tells me they should be on the same side, but apparently something happened. They're now fighting each other. And it makes it a bit difficult to see why there are these palisades. Because right here it kind of looks like they're facing inside. Because why would you have palisades or these walls here? First of all, you want to take cover. You want to deny certain paths for the enemy. You want to create choke points. And if you have spikes like these, you don't want enemy cavalry raiding you. So usually these spikes would be even lower, so that if a horse would run into them, the horse would be impaled. And the placement of these is kinda questionable. Because there are arrows sticking out from this side, it looks like these were used defensively, like from an attacker that comes from this side over there, from Stormvale Castle. But this is where it's a bit confusing, because usually you want... Nice leg there. Because usually you want these spikes to face the enemy. But I guess they're using these defensive walls a little bit different. And of course here we see the puppets fighting the Cuckoo Knights. But let's continue going underneath this nice rock formation. We are in a small forest, and in this forest there is a spawn point for a knight's cavalry, which again only appears at night. So if you want to beat another knight's cavalry, you have to go here in the night. And here we are at the broken down bridge to the academy itself. And I actually forgot about something that I wanted to talk about, so... Okay, we are back at the crossroads, and here I also wanted to talk about these ruins over here, but I completely forgot that they exist. Here we have a teleporter. And, well, where is this teleporter leading to? I think it is leading to the academy. And from a world design, it kind of makes sense that there is a teleporter, or there are actually multiple teleporter scattered around this area leading to the academy. And from a world design, it makes sense, right? So if you want to visit the academy, you just take a teleporter as a citizen, right? And it helps that it's in a building, now destroyed building, but it wasn't just randomly in the wilds. It was actually in a building, so you could go into the building, take the teleporter to the academy, and then you're there. You don't have to walk the way. From a level design perspective, I don't really like it, because you're skipping a lot of content this way, and then you're not really appreciating the path the developers built for you, right? So I kind of wish this teleporter was just broken down. But I get it, you need, I guess, one teleporter telling you where it leads to, right? So I'm still not a fan of teleporters. But you could argue that it's still a good design. Then here we have more ruins, nothing special over here. And in this one over there, there is a secret inside. And this is just another outpost, or it looks like another outpost, with butchered Albinorics inside. But we also have a cellar, which hides a secret. In here, over here, we will find a Shabriri grape. I already picked it up. And in this chest, we have the 2 Fingers heirloom hidden. Let's have a look at the 2 Fingers heirloom. A talisman engraved with the legend of the 2 fingers raises faith. Fingers cannot speak, yet these were eloquent. Persistently did they wriggle, spelling out mysteries in the air. Thus did we gain the words of our faith. And it's interesting that this thing is buried in a cellar in Liurnia, the area where you usually find mages and not faith-based stuff, right? You are studying the stars, you're not studying the 2 fingers, and yet there is an heirloom inside there. So this might be something to think about. And also we find a Shabriri grape inside, which is also a faith-based item, I would say. Like, it is faith in 3 fingers and not in 2 fingers, which is interesting that we find this in the magic area. But in another episode we will see why this is so interesting, because in this episode we are not going to have a look at this area. I will do a special episode on this area later on. But let's get back to the Gate Town Bridge and venture on from there. Back at the bridge, we can go down the broken bridge and we will end up in the lake itself. And I'm kinda hesitant to call this a lake because it's very, very shallow. There's actually no spot where you can just drown. It's all accessible via foot, so isn't it more like a swamp rather than a lake? But oh well, here we find magic flowers and a different type of albinoric. This is a different generation of albinoric. Albinorics are... what's the word? Humans or life forms created by other people, not like artificial, that's what the word is. This is the word that I'm missing. These are artificial humans or life forms, and they're all failures. These have, these are lacking intelligence. They can't even speak, and as you can see, they're not even looking like humans. They look more like weird frog thingies. And then we have the other albinorics, which are also not perfect because they will eventually lose their legs, as we've seen in another episode. And here we have the Academy Gate Town, which is basically just a town in front of the Academy. The interesting part is why most of these buildings are sunk into the ground. Like, that raises for me the question: questions were these buildings always built on top of the water, or was this dry land at some point? Why then did they just sank into the ground? Because some of them are still somewhat standing. These are all different questions that I can't answer. We can only, or I can only speculate. And there's also another sad thing is, this town feels super dead to me. I mean, it is literally destroyed, but the problem with this town is, again, as with many other buildings, that you can't get into these buildings and have a look around, right? It just looks like another rock or something, to me at least. Because I really wish you could just get a glimpse into these buildings, how they are decorated and stuff like this, right? Because if you've never seen a house like these from the inside, why should you believe that they're actually houses someone was living in, right? At least this is how I think. The staircase leading up to the academy is also fortified, this time again by cuckoo knights or soldiers, and this is something that confuses me even more, right? Because wasn't a mage the one controlling the puppets, or is the puppet master actually the same puppet master that is controlling the puppets in the Carrier Manor? And this is something that is still confusing to me. Like, are they defending the city or the town here? Are they defending the academy, or are they besieging the academy? I honestly don't know. So, but it could be both, right? Either besieging or defending. But to me it looks like, or it looks more like they're defending this town because of the way these flamethrowers are positioned. Facing, well, outward and not inward. And I really like this part of the town over here. It kind of looks like a town someone could live in, although these buildings all look like church buildings to me for some reason. And not like buildings someone would live in, maybe other than this building without windows. Actually, they have windows, they're just boarded shut. And this is over here, the bridge where we would have ended if this bridge was still intact. And from here on out we can get into the academy once we've obtained the academy key. And of course we need a key because the academy during the war just shut its doors. And it's usually still shut, you just need a glintstone key. And we can find the glintstone key over here. And there's also a glintstone dragon protecting it, basically. Let's light this side of grace here. I've already picked up the key, so we can just venture through here. And instead of teleporting us to the other side of the gate itself, we're directly being transported to this plaza over here. Isn't it nice? If we go back, you will see that there's a lot of plantation growing here, and this is, while it looks great, it's kind of weird, right? How are the seeds of these plants are getting here, possibly due to the wind. But why isn't the bridge collapsing? Usually the roots of these plants would just destroy the structure of this staircase bridge part, and it would probably collapse down. At least that's what I think. Like, here we have a merchant, fairly close to a pack of wolves. And then if we're getting closer to that gate, we see someone hanging on the side of that gate, and it's a Bloodhound Knight. I don't know why the Bloodhound Knight is here and what he's waiting for. He drops down if you're getting too close, and he's just protecting, quote-unquote protecting, a Celestial Dew item. If we go back to the plaza and go in the other direction, we will also be able to see that this part of the bridge is also broken down. So let me actually get here. This all takes quite a long time. It feels like going up here takes longer than going down, to be honest. But okay, we are finally back. Here we can see that the bridge is also broken down, and we have to use this teleporter to get to the other side. And this is the Bellum Highway, and this, to be honest, doesn't really look like Liurnia anymore. Let me quickly rest at the side of grace and turn it back to day. Even though the night in Liurnia is quite nice because you can see the stars, I still like daylight a little bit more. So we will see this architecture fairly soon a little bit more, because this is the same road architecture with these statues in the or on the road of the Altus Plateau, but this is clearly built from the Altus Plateau down here. Like, this is not Liurnian architecture, this is Leyndelian architecture. If we venture into this forest, there is this time no soldiers, not only soldiers, but also knights on horseback patrolling these routes as well. Same faction, a Cuckoo Knight faction. As you can see, the red-blue coloring on their armor sets and on their capes. A few ruins that fell from the sky at some point, and to the side... Did I pass it already? Where is it? I think I passed it already. Oh no, there it is. And to the side we even have a church. And it's the Bellum Church, hey! Again with a sacred tear inside and a statue of Radagon. And again, the statue, as in every other church, when there is a statue inside the church, it is made out of a different material than the church itself. So it possibly got imported here. From here, we have another option. We can either follow the main road to the Grand Lift of Dectus, or we can take this path into the ravine down here. But I, of course, will continue on the main path here. There's another camp over here, and it is interesting again. This camp is facing towards Liurnia, but it is occupied by Cuckoo soldiers, so what is going on here? We even have trebuchets over here, or catapults. Isn't it like every trebuchet is a catapult, but not every catapult is a trebuchet, right? I think it is a trebuchet if there's a counterweight. Maybe I'm wrong there, but they're all facing inside towards the academy, so are these soldiers protecting Leyndell or the lift? Shouldn't that be then soldiers of Leyndell and not the Cuckoo soldiers, or what is going on here? This is something that I'm not quite getting. And if we're getting closer here, we can see the Leyndell, my god, like the Leyndell architecture. That's what I wanted to say. Oof. Got a stroke there almost. Taking hold of this area because, well, this is a building of Leyndell. This is the Grand Lift of Dectus, and, well, it's literally a lift. You need a medallion. You hold it up here, and this whole thing will go up. Like, this whole platform over here. I think up to this point. It will all go up. And don't even ask me what kind of mechanism behind that is. Like, feels like magic to me, but not really. Like, it feels like a mixture of mechanism and magic. And you know I'm not a fan of mechanisms in these games, because usually, especially elevator mechanisms, because they usually make no sense. Only if they're being powered by magic, of course. But I think we are at the end of this path. Yes, there's another path leading up to that other church over there, but this is something that I will have a look at in a separate video. So, as I said, we are going back to this junction over here and have a look at the smaller path. Back to this area, we are going up the hill and soon into a interesting small forest. Now we are still going past some ruins and some wildlife, nothing special here. The only quote-unquote special thing, I would say, is the these rock formations over here, but they're all over the lands between, so nothing special, or not especially unique to Liurnia. And in this forest we will see some tombstones. So this possibly was some sort of graveyard. And we have a big crab that looks quite strange, and a few smaller crabs in this pond, and we have also deathroot here. And these crabs get corrupted by the deathroot. If you have a look at the shell of the smaller crabs, you can clearly see the face of death, or the face of the Prince of Death, and possibly on the stomach or on the underbelly of this crab. Here we have one eye, this big yellow bulge here, and there's the other eye. And they are being corrupted, and they can use, at least the big ones, can produce the death blight fog. And we also have water here, not flowing water. Again, as I've said in the, I think in the Limgrave video, it has to do something with Japanese culture, where still water has something to do with death or decay or stagnation, something like this. The game Sekiro had a heavy connection to that, like implementation of water, flowing water versus still water. And here as well, I wonder if deathroot in particular seeks out corpses, like graveyards, catacombs, because there are a lot of dead bodies inside. Maybe that is the reason why it's in areas like the Summon Water Village, where there is a graveyard over here and a lot of tombstones inside. And similar to this area now, there are tombstones around. And even in this upcoming area here, we can see more deathroot and even a Tibber Mariner. And yes, I am skipping Jarburg. I might do a video on Jarburg itself, and this is the most confusing enemy in the game, in my opinion. This is not a Cuckoo Soldier, this is a Leyndell Knight. And this is, I think, the only one in Liurnia. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the only Leyndell Knight in Liurnia. And if you kill him the first time, this one will drop the Dragon Called Prayer Book, which basically says, Prayer Book of the Capital's Ancient Dragon Cult, a text of the Knight's faith that arose after the War of the Ancient Dragons. So, not really clear what, another leg there, not really clear what this soldier is doing here and what's their purpose and what their purpose is here. Over here we have another artist's shack where we can do the whole painting game. Grab the painting and find the location it's depicting to gain a prize. And now, if we have a look over at this cliff where this dead albinoric is sitting towards and praying towards the Earth Tree. If we have a look down here, we can see there's the entrance to this area over here, whatever this special area is. I will definitely make a video about this area over here, because it's fascinating in my opinion. And we also can see, maybe, not really, maybe if I go on top of these rocks here. What is going on? What's wrong with the legs? Down there, somewhere, yeah, there is a site of grace. So go down there if you want to grab it. I continue the video from up here. Because here we, because of the route I've taken, it's the first time in this video we see another faction, which is the, what do we call it, fire? Just call it giant fire faction, whatever, which is like this, like we have fire monks here, and we have these, are they called sinners? I think they're called sinners because of their thorn crown and all. But it's interesting that we find this faction in Liurnia, at least for me. They of course have a small little camp here, and I guess these things, are their banners? Like these thorny carvings? Doesn't look like they're made out of stone, but I have no idea what they're doing here. I guess they're just living here. Now, if we follow the path down here, we can gain access to the Einzel River well. We already had a look at that, but now I want to have a look at the church over there. The church on this plateau. And there's a lot of fog here, man. I'm not really a fan of the weather system. Just because I most of the time just like bright daylight. And it's interesting, here's another graveyard, but there's no deathroot here, so maybe my theory of deathroot is only going towards areas with a lot of death is wrong. Or maybe they just don't want to infest the whole map with deathroot. But here we have Turtle Pope. The best dog in the game, and the biggest dog in the game, of course, right? And I like to talk to him, like, he's cute, I like the turtle. And here's apparently the area where you can wash your character free of sin. Like if you've aggroed an NPC, you can let them forgive you, basically, I think. Like this is the Celestial Dew for, you have to use up one Celestial Dew, and I think it's again, is it over here? I don't know where it is, like, there. N tier found in the Eternal City, now also known as a Nate tier. Allows one to carry out an absolution at the Church of Vows, reversing all antagonizations. Once upon a time, the stars of the night sky guided fate, and this is a recollection of those times. Nice, I guess. To be honest, I've never used this one. And before I forget to mention, this area is also an area where at night, when certain conditions are met, and these conditions are not at all clear to me, maybe if you talk to Turtle Pope a lot, there will be the bell-bearing hunters spawning over here. So you might just end up in a fight. And the upcoming area is, in my opinion, the most interesting area, even though the level design there isn't that good, but we are getting into follower territory over here, and this is the old palace ruins, and here we have followers, so gathering stuff, and we can also hear a mausoleum rampaging in the background. And to be honest, I don't like playing through this area just because the follower are also called a sniper. They will shoot you with the big ass bows, like with the big ass arrows. The bows aren't the problem, the arrows are the problem. But why is this, in my opinion, the most interesting part? Because this area is underneath this area, and here we also have the old palace ruins, and these are the old palace ruins. So, and this interests me from a lore perspective, because these are underground and these are above ground, but you can see these are not really intact anymore. The ones underground look a little bit healthier than these, so I would like to... I don't know why this one is so angry, but there are a lot of statues here, a lot of destroyed, ruined parts. Let me quickly get out of the range of that thing, because it's quite loud for me. And as you know, I don't like talking while something very loud is going on there. But there's not much to talk about this area, but there's much to speculate about this area. Because, well, what can you do in this area? Not really that much, except there are two wandering mausoleums here. Plus there's a third one down in the water over here. So I think this is the most... not the most interesting part, but it is like the main part why you want to go here. And maybe the upcoming part, because I think here the map is lying a little bit, right? I think this area is one of these area cases where the map is not up to date. And we've seen this a few times on the game here, right? At one point there was, over here, there was a landmass that doesn't exist. We also had something over here where there was, I think it was over here, where there was a path that wasn't existent anymore, or not existed here. Minor problems. And same with this thing, like the path here doesn't really like exist in the way it looks here. Like, as you saw, I had to walk a little circle here to get up here. It's not just like, oh, you can go up there. Like, these minor imperfections in the map is like something very annoying to me, like that they didn't correct it in time. Just some minor details, but nah. I don't really like these enemies. But over here we have a very important area, upcoming important area, which are the... are they called the knife? No. Some sort of catacombs. I don't really know what these catacombs are called anymore. Knife? Black knife catacomb? Something knife related. And we also have one of these knights down here with the cursed sword and no head. One of these mausoleum knights. I think this depiction is wrong. This is not the Bellum Highway. Black Knife Catacombs, yeah, okay, that's what they're called, Black Knife Catacombs, excuse me. But this marks the end of this route, so let's actually get to the watery part of this area. Now, we just came fresh out of Stormberg Castle over here, and we are now exploring Liurnia for the first time. And we of course go this path over here. We are greeted by another church with an NPC inside. Over here, a mage that is not a good mage. And we have a nice little graveyard. And a few things to gather on these graveyards, but they're just a few skeletons, nothing special to talk about. If we go down this path, we will see another outpost, or possibly our first outpost, usually, of these cuckoo faction over here. Then, if we're getting out of there, we will encounter possibly the most beautiful part of the lake area of Liurnia, with the interesting, or with the cool looking forest down here, and a merchant where we can stock up. If we are now ready, we can venture through the lake itself. And here we find some ruins and this nice path, or this was once a path, and again I wonder if there was an actual path here or if this whole area is always or was always underground. But you can see these fences, these stone fences with the glowing candles, I guess, inside, or these glowing flames inside, these small blue little flames, and the first map part we will encounter. And also wraiths. There are a lot of wraiths down here, and these are multi-limbed strange creatures, and you can easily beat them with healing magic. Not magic, but with healing incantations. And they seem to be all over this place, so be careful. They're quite annoying, especially these ones on horseback. If we continue this path, we will find a set of grace and a bigger area, and here you need to be careful at the Laskiar ruins, because let's see if it works. Yes, they're spawning, because here we have a royal revenant. These can be very dangerous. You might want to have your healing incantations ready, because if you hit them with even urgent heal, I guess, they will take a lot of damage and it will stagger them. They're spawning all over the place, so let's quickly go away. And I might now mark some important parts here and there. I think this is one. Then I want to go here, and ultimately I want to go over there. Okay. All markers in place, so let's follow these markers. Because right now there's not really a road anymore, I'm just going through this area and pointing out some key locations. And actually there's a path, but I lost the path, so we are right on track. Here we have one of these bird eye telescopes, where we can have a look from a bird's eye view over this area. Here we have the bridge that collapsed once. I think this mark is wrong there. Or is it? There's some, it's not loading. There should be a shack there, but it's not loading. And it's not loading either there. Oh, that is sad. Over there is the Albinoric village. Quite cool what you can see and what you can't see. This is an important location if you want to start a quest. Usually there's an NPC here you want to talk to. And if you want to follow this NPC's quest, you have to go to the right side there. And I'm still somewhat on the road. It's kind of hard to see, but the road is ultimately leading towards the Academy Gate Town. I'm not going this path. I'm venturing off the path now. And over here is the other important part of the NPC's quest line. Here we have another NPC. And this NPC will only really talk to you and open up to you once you start the quest line with the NPC that is over here. So don't miss it. This NPC even sells some good stuff, so you definitely want to have it. And let's see if I'm right with this. Because, yeah. Oh no, I'm not. I'm completely wrong. Here's just a dexterity node crystal. It's kind of hard to find these, but I think I wanted to go to this area. Oh well. Doesn't really matter. Let's continue the path to the other glowing thingy. This area is quite, how would I describe it? I mean, it's quite eventless. Like, here and there are some interesting locations. This one is not really a location you want to go to, because here you have these big crustaceans and they will fuck you up if you're not careful. So you usually want to stay away from them. In the lake area there are also two deaf birds, or at least one deaf bird and one deaf right bird, so be careful. There are also in total 2 Knights Cavalry in Liurnia itself. I've shown you one location, and the other location I can already tell you. The other location would be in this area over here. I just missed it. I missed talking about it when I was there. And here we have the Church of the Rose Church, not the Church of Roses, and it is called that because here are a lot of blood roses, and as you can see, a lot of whatever this is. Like, it's definitely flesh, but what exactly is this? Like, just a bunch of lumps of flesh? And it looks quite interesting. Like, have a look at my character now. He looks like he's glowing. It feels like a lighting error. This happens in a few areas, but it looks very weird. Here we have one of these blood nobles, or whatever. Sanguine nobles, excuse me, sanguine nobles. And the Church of Roses, or the Rose Church, whatever. Which is an important part of Vari's questline. You don't want to miss it. And this looks actually very interesting from here, like the cave entrances and the upper plateau. And eventually I will look at the plateau, but not in this episode. Because this episode is already running quite too long, but I don't really want to do 2 parts anymore. Like, I want to do it in one video, even though the video might be too long. Or, I mean, you can still, like, stop the video and watch it at another point. I guess it's more efficient to make multiple videos. Like, more efficient for me. But I like it that way. right now a little bit more. Here we have one of these mage towers where I don't know why they exist. Like, maybe some mage built here and said, like, this is my tower now, from here I do mage stuff. And you have to do, like, erudition guide like, you have to do a gesture here, which is very odd, a very odd puzzle, but in my opinion still a bit better than the puzzles like find the 3 wise beasts. Another minor Earth tree with tree guardians and this big boy over there. Nothing special to talk about here. So let's quickly keep going, but I think there's one more interesting part coming up. Or maybe 2 interesting parts, because one we can already see in the back over there, and the other one is the shack that we will encounter very, very soon in this dead-looking forest, or half-dead-looking forest. Because have a look at the trees here. This is actually good storytelling. Like, look from the outside at these trees. They look quite dead. On this side it looks... everything looks dead for some reason, right? And this is just visual storytelling. This has probably nothing to do with the area of itself. Like, the area is not really dead, but here we have the Revenger's Shack, where a important part of a future quest line will take place. So what's up with that? I can only tell you right now that this is quite good storytelling, or visual storytelling, going on from the from the world itself, because of the importance of this area. Here we have one of these Everjails, where we fight I think it's a troll knight. Yeah, Cuckoo's Everjail. Very boring in my opinion. I don't know why this thing even exists. Then here we have another of these skin demons. I just call them skin demons because they look so disgusting. Now we're getting close to the 4 belfries, and these are a mystery to me. Are they 4? Oh, we will see. They're a mystery to me why they even exist in the game. Here we have a few jellyfish, and they're supposed to be their children, so somehow children died here. But we also have these undead troll knights. And this is more of a mystery to me. Why are they undead? They're like the undead of the wandering mausoleums. Like, they're also missing their heads, so... But why are they here? Why are they protecting the 4 belfries? And why are the 4 belfries even a thing? Because they're leading you to locations that you don't even need to get to, like... Except one. One is of importance in my opinion. Oh. Let me get rid of this. Because one of them is teleporting you. They're all teleporting you to this location where you started out to get revenge on the grafted Cyan, most likely. Then there is one teleporting you to this location just to fight a Crucible Knight and just to gain one single item. Then there's one getting you to somewhere on Farum Azula, like, let's say somewhere outside of Farum Azula actually, where you also get only one single item. And the last one... Where's the last one leading to? Night Sky Unceasing. This is in front of Mog's Palace with the Crucible Knight. This one is leading to Farum Azula, the Crumbling Lands. This one over here is leading to the Chapel of Anticipation or Church of Anticipation, the starting area where you're actually spawning when you create a new character. Oh, okay. No fourth teleportation. There's just a key inside. But why do these 4 belfries exist? Why are they here, and why are they teleporting you to 3 seemingly random locations? I have no idea why this even is a thing. So I can't talk about this, sorry. For me, this is just... They're not even leading you to interesting locations. Like, I mean, the locations themselves are interesting and it's a nice little teaser for the player character. But I don't really see the reason why this area would connect to the other areas. Like, I don't see a gameplay reason and I don't see a world reason, like world design reason. Maybe they are there just so... Because Liurnia is already a centerpiece, like, it's basically in the center of everything, right? It is connecting the Altus Plateau, Caelid and Limgrave to each other, like it's in the centerpiece of everything, right? Even the Academy is in the center of, like, the main roads. And maybe the 4 belfries are connecting certain areas with each other, like, so that Liurnia is the center of everything. But then I wonder, why is there no better road, like a better road system? Because there is actually... What I would have done is maybe create from this plaza here another bridge that goes over to the 4 belfries. And then it would make sense to me. But right now I have no clue why they are even a thing. Well, here we have a wagon with apparently 4 dead children around it, which is quite gruesome. There we have another cuckoo outpost, or camp, or whatever you want to call this. And this is quite dangerous, because up there is a mage, and he will... not a very strong mage, but he will constantly bombard you with magic. If you fight this pumpkinhead, be careful, this mage will hit you. If you think, oh, you want to run through, then you're running through here, you kill the mage maybe, and then you have to fight these soldiers and the pumpkinhead, and it's getting quite dangerous here, so I think the best thing you can do is snipe the mage with a bow. I think that's the best approach to this area. Over here we have quite a lot of soldiers. Look how many soldiers these are. This might be the biggest convoy there is in this game. Just for one magic sword inside. I think inside is the... Let's see, where is it? I think it's the Carrier Knight sword? One of these 2 swords. I think it's a Carrier Knight sword. So they're carrying a relic somewhere. So strange to me. And I've said this in the Leyndell, Roads of Leyndell video, but I have to repeat it here. This feels like eventually they will reach their destination, which is like here, I think. I think this is their destination. At this point, they will just stand still and do nothing. Same with the convoy, and this feels like an oversight to me, because it's like something where you think, I hope the player won't wait until this one stands still, but because then he will notice that we haven't done enough, like enough pathing and shit like this. And then it starts to feel lazy, because they will just stand there and do nothing. Which is a bummer. Like, this place already feels kinda eventless. Like, as you see, I'm not talking about much here, right? Because I can't really talk about that much. But I still want to cover things, because I can still say a few sentences about them. Here we have the King's Realm ruins, and, well, these are just ruins with invisible mages here. They will turn visible when you're getting close to them, and they will pew at you with their weak magic, and then they will disappear and appear somewhere else, so be careful. And, like, why? I guess I know why. Let's see. Is there no way around? Oh, there's no way. Okay, never mind. The why wasn't correct here. I guess it makes sense that there's this illusory wall here. And here we have EG. EG is protecting the carrier manor, apparently. It's probably his illusion that we just went through, and he's reading a book. And he's a troll reading a book. And he has one of these tablets in his stomach, or kinda looks like a plastic container of something. Maybe it's a plastic lunchbox, but it looks quite odd. Well, he's one of Rani's, I think he's Rani's war counselor. And look at this, there's a tiny greatsword here. Nice book, I can't read it from here, but, well, he will basically protect Rani, and he will also protect you, because he's warning you of this magic stuff. Like, it won't trigger, but usually this guy, or this area is cursed or trapped, because if someone ventures inside here, there will be a magic rain trying to kill the player, but the magic rain has pretty bad aim, to be honest, so maybe someone wants to make this spell a little bit stronger at some point. But there's not much to talk about these ruins, just I kinda wish this was like another gate for this area, because apparently it's the only path into... Yeah, it's the only path into Carrier Manor over there. You have to go through here to get there, at least at this point. Maybe it kind of looks like this landmass here got separated at some point. But even then, would it just lead into the lake, or was there at some point a way over there? I have no idea. But, well, this was the roads of Liurnia, quite the long video, and I know for the length there isn't really that much to talk about, but, well, that is Liurnia for you. Like, it's a big empty lake, in my opinion. Like, I'm not really... This is why I don't really enjoy Elden Ring as much as I enjoyed the Dark Souls series, because there's a lot of nothingness. But there's also a lot of content, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Elden Ring is just an empty game. It's just like more spread out, and it's a bit tiresome at some point. This is basically my main complaint. It's harder to play through it multiple times, in my opinion, than it's more draining to me than playing through other Dark Souls titles. But this was the roads to Liurnia. If you wish for me to talk about certain areas and hear about more in more detail, then please let me know. But keep in mind, the video about this area over here is coming very, very soon. And I will, of course, do a video about the plateau up here at some point as well. So maybe you might want to subscribe if you don't want to miss it. But that's enough from me. Goodbye.